Can you believe the Zach Gelb Show is officially a year old? We didn't think he'd last 1 week, let alone a year. Just kidding. Congrats, Zach, I guess. Now it's time for more of the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920, The Jersey.
444, 1 year anniversary of the Zach Gelb Show. 1 year anniversary. I don't know if you really celebrate that too much. I'll take the gifts, though, that the station did give me. So I guess, yeah, we'll celebrate it. All right, 609-9199-D200. Good conversation a few moments ago with Seth Greenberg. Bob Costa's coming up later on today at 5:15. But I wanted to bring on someone that has been there basically since the beginning. Not when I came out of the womb, but when I wanted to become a talk show host. And that's when I walked into the WFAN studios at the age of 8 or 7 in my Tom Brady jersey and started talking crap to Joe Beningo, and his co-host that day was Sid Rosenberg, who's now with 770 WABC up in New York. And Sid's kind enough to hop on board with us right now. Sid, appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for the time, and how are you?
Importantly, happy anniversary. I just imagine that Bob and Lori right now are very, very happy. Spelling, if you will, the nachas you give them every single day. And I take a certain amount of gratitude and glee, too, knowing that years and years ago, decade and a half ago or more, you actually were inside my studio and you're turning into a major, major star. So happy anniversary. Congratulations, Zachy. You're well on your way to big-time stardom.
Well, thank you so much. What was your 1 year anniversary like at some places? I know you've been around the block a few different places.
I've had about 20 of them, Zach, as you know. The only thing I've remained consistent is...
Sid, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Sid, are you there? Sid, your phone there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hear me?
It's like the Verizon and whatever, the AT&T commercial now.
Yeah, don't forget, in Manhattan, home phones, you have to step outside on your cell. But the only thing I remain consistent with, Zach, in terms of anniversaries, believe it or not, is my wedding anniversary. Next Sunday, June 25th, I'll be married 25 years on the 25th. Otherwise, radio jobs for me come and go like you change your underwear. But I do remember my first 1 year anniversary and my 1 year anniversary at WFAN. And quite frankly, just a couple of months ago, Zach, my 1 year anniversary at WABC. And those are always good times. Listen, this is a very, very tough business, as you know. There's a lot of competition. Every kid out there who knows sports thinks they could be a big-time star. They're better than everybody else. But as you know, it's more than that. It's more than, how many batting averages you know, how many touchdown passes you know. It's about delivery. It's about the relationship between you and the callers. It's about interviewing skills. And until you do all that well, you'll never be a star. So if you've stuck around anywhere, Zach, for a year or more, odds are, and you do this well, odds are you're good at all that stuff. So it's a big deal, man. Seriously, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'll tell you this, because I thought I knew a lot about this business just growing up in it, doing shows in high school on Shovio with you, and then doing some stuff in college. When you're actually on a terrestrial radio station by yourself, no board operator, and having to make all the clients happy and everything, you learn so much more. Like, I've learned more about radio in this year than probably any other year before that.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. Again, it's your first experience, like you said, running your own show on terrestrial radio. And, when you learn more and more every single day, and sometimes, no matter how much you know, Zach, sometimes the times dictate what you can and can't do. In a bad economy, sometimes you got to do things differently on the air to appease your clients and to appease the advertisers who are spending money on the show. And, it's a very fluid business. It's about not only the content, what's going on in sports, or in my case, politics and news every single day, but it's about the economy. It's about business. It's about ad sales. It's about keeping your GM and your program director happy. There's a lot that goes on a daily basis. The fans have no idea. These morons think you get on the air, you watch the Yankees or the Patriots or the Knicks last night, and you're talking sports. What they don't understand is that's about 15% of the business. If you're good at that and bad at everything else, you will never.
Is Sid still there? That's the question. Sid, you still there? Sid,
still there?
I hear you back now, Sid. You were giving us great advice, and then you just left. It was like they tried to censor you.
I'm down by the South Street Seaport. It's a very tough area when it comes to I live here, so
let me just
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Sid Rosenberg with us. Let's just get in a few more things, and if your phone cuts out, I'll give you the Francesa hand wave. Sports podcasting, you're involved in it right now, and you're also doing shows on CBS Sports Radio. Are you missing some of the sports talk when you do your show every day?
Yeah, no, not at all.
I don't believe that for a second.
No, not at all. I swear to you. When they asked Derek Jeter, do you miss playing? And he goes, not at all. People go, I don't believe that. Listen, I've done 2 CBS sports shows over the last month for Eric Spitz, right there at WFAN Studios, and they've been great. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Hopefully I'll do a lot more this summer. And it's fun. I get a chance to talk about LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Draymond Green and whether Stephen A. Smith is a moron, which he is or not, for saying LeBron James should be compared to Michael Jordan. And it's all nonsense. You got to understand, I got to a point in my life, Zach, where I woke up on certain days. I'll never forget, I woke up on a Saturday morning, and the night before there were the attacks in Paris last November, and my boss was yelling at me because I wasn't talking enough about the Dolphin defense. Look, I've got 2 kids, ages 8 and 13, and, you know, there's a president right now that a lot of people really, really can't stand it. I don't dislike as much as many people do, but there's no question there are some things that scare me about D.C. These are things that affect me, my children, my wife on a very big level every single day. The truth is, if the Mets lose again tonight, it doesn't mean anything. If the Yankees win tonight, it doesn't mean anything. And I got to the point in my life where, you know, on a day where something really big happened around the world, for example, the congressman being shot a couple of days ago on the softball field, on the baseball field, I should say, I don't have to go on the air that day and talk about, you know, what happened with the Mets the night before. I want to talk about that. So I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I still enjoy sports talk radio. I like the fact that I could do a couple of shows. But if I had to be knee-deep in sports every single day and couldn't discuss politics and news, I'd be miserable.
Have you and Francesa, have you guys made some amends and reconcile, or is that relationship over?
You know what's funny? No, we haven't done any of that, to be honest. And Wednesday, as you know, Zach, WFAN celebrates 30 years of existence. And they're doing a really, really big show at Grand Central Terminal. All their shows from Boomer and Craig throughout the day, right through Mike and Steve Summers, I guess, are going to originate live from Grand Central on Wednesday. Well, it turns out that I've been invited by Beningo and Evan Roberts, yes, to come on live with Chernoff's blessing. So I'm going to be on live coming up Wednesday at 12:20. I'm going to do my show with Bernie. The show ends at noon. Hop on the train, go one stop to 42nd Street, hop on at 12:20 with Joe and Evan, which means, by the way, when I'm done with my segment at 12:40, Mike is just about ready to come on. So we have not seen each other or talked to each other, but we will be face-to-face coming up on Wednesday afternoon.
Will you say anything?
Yeah, I'll tell him great job, way to go for 30 years, and I'll just make it very, very clear that if I really, really wanted his job when he leaves, he's not being fired. He's an option to leave. But if I really wanted it, no matter how much he lies to his listeners or has his minions like Brian Monzo lie to the audience, I can have it. But the truth is, I'm under contract for 2 more years. I like what I'm doing now. They're not going to pay me the $4 million they're paying Francesa, so I don't want it. But in the end, I'll make it very clear to him that he's lying to his audience about A, trying to hire me, that he's lying to his audience about the possibility of me getting work there, and he should just move on. He's had a great career. Stop lying to protect. I don't know what he's trying to protect. And nice to see you, Mike. Now get out of my face, Sacho.
I don't think you would say any of that.
Oh, I'll say, you have to understand, Zach, I would say all of that. Chernoff knows that, and that's why Chernoff said to me in an email, he said, I think that as soon as your segment is over, as much as we want you to be there, it'll be good for everybody if you just leave.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to get escorted out of the building, just like how my dad was escorted out of Shea Stadium, Game 7 of the NLCS, when we both got kicked out of the building. I think you're going to get kicked out the minute your segment's over.
Well, let me tell you something. If that happens, that's a win-win for Sid Rosenberg, because that'll be bigger news that day than the fact that Mike Francesa is celebrating a 30-year anniversary. Trust me.
All this animosity beside, we all like the Mike and the Mad Dog radio program, and it is the all-time legendary sports talk radio program. Give me your best memory of Mike and Chris during that time of that show.
Oh, boy, that is tough. Because the truth is, and there is some animosity, and it's real. This is not made for radio. I'm not sure how it is on Mike's part, but I really am pissed, really pissed, actually. And my wife is, too, because she was there for all those phone calls, and she was calling Chernoff about moving back to New Jersey. She took part in all this, and she can't figure out why he's lying either. So we're not kidding around. We are pissed. But at the same time, the difference between me and most people is I can give the guy credit. And the truth is, Mike and the Mad Dog was and always will be the best sports talk radio show in the history of our medium. Those guys are fantastic. If I had to pick one moment, you know, I don't know, maybe when believe it or not, when Dog was fighting with Mike Milbury. I know it's a hockey spot, and that's not exactly their forte. They're such great baseball, basketball, and football guys. But when Dog would fight with Mike Milbury, stuff like that just made me absolutely crazy. I love that. I'm going to go with something like that. I mean, it's hard to say, really. It's kind of like asking a great actor, like a Sopranos guy, what was your favorite scene or your favorite episode? Those guys were so great for so long that I'd be doing them and the audience a disservice if I picked just one spot.
$750,000 per year, 3-year contract, Sid in the afternoons. Does it get done?
How much is it?
$750,000.
No, I'll make more when I replace Imus in the morning.
That's going to happen? You think that's going to happen?
Oh, I know that's going to happen. I mean, that's
I like that.
Don gets to work as long as he wants because when they write the book, chapter 1 is either going to be Howard Stern or Don Imus. It's interchangeable. He is a legend. If you think Mike and the Mad Dog are legends, let me tell you something, okay? Mike and the Mad Dog don't exist without Don Imus. WFAN, your father can tell you this.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Imus built that station. Those guys are celebrating that anniversary because of Imus. So he gets to work as long as he wants.
They love Don.
Of course, but when Don hangs it up, I fully expect, and maybe I've been told it, maybe not. You make that judgment that me and Bernie will move to mornings, and at that point, $750 won't be enough to make me leave that station. You got to be upwards of the millions, and again, I don't think FAN will pay those types of salaries anymore. I think those days end with Mike, which, believe me when I tell you, CBS is not all that unhappy about.
$2.5 million a year.
Okay, I'll see you on the house in about 15 minutes.
All right, Sid, let's just talk a little sports before we let you run. Odell Beckham Jr., how do you perceive this situation since you're closer to it right now?
Very, very tough. It's a tough situation. Look, the kid is a mental midget. That is the bottom line. I don't know if he'll ever learn his lesson. Look, we've seen so many wide receivers. You know this, Zach. You're a great football guy. The diva position, Keyshawn Johnson was a complete pain in the ass. T.O., imagine Owens not being a Hall of Fame. I know he dropped a lot of footballs, but he had amazing seasons. But he was a cancer. Every team he went, it was a disaster and an issue. And that's going to be OBJ, I feel, the rest of his career. Problem is he's so damn good. Now, he had one playoff game, but was bad. He was lousy against Green Bay. You want to blame Miami, trip your head. That's nonsense. He was just bad that day. But, listen, the Giants have a very special wide receiving corps. When you consider the second-year wide receiver, Shepard, Brandon Marshall, and OBJ, that would be the best trio in all of the National Football League. So if OBJ can keep his head on straight and the Giants can run the football, it could be a very special season. But my fear is, Zach, is that he will never, just like T.O., just like Keyshawn, Steve Smith, and others, he will never have his head on completely straight. So you have to deal with problems every single year, but hopefully they're not disastrous problems, and you get through it, and he gets his 75 for 1,210 touchdowns.
I actually did an event with Odell Beckham Jr. Last year, and I got to spend about 2-3 hours with him, and I saw him interact with a lot of children, and I happened to walk away saying, wow, this guy just gets a bad rap. But then you see some of the things that went on last year, and sometimes... No, wait, let me finish, because I'm about to hammer him. Hold on, Sid. You got to let me get my point across here. It's my show, so that's what we'll do. But
you learned well from Francesa. Go ahead,
yeah. Wait a second, Sid. See, I just texted him the other day trying to get him on. Now that's definitely not going to happen, so you just blew that opportunity. Thanks so much, Sid. But one more thing, though, on Odell Beckham. Here's where he went wrong when it comes to OTAs. If he just wanted more money and he didn't show up to OTAs, I'm fine with it because he's underpaid at $1.8 million. But it was the tweet saying, I'm going to be the hardest working person. I'm going to be more motivated than ever. And then when you say all that and you don't show up to OTAs and then you have all the thing with the New York Post yesterday and TMZ, he heard the advice from Jerry Reese, hey, grow up. And he's just done the complete opposite. It's petulant behavior. That's what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, years ago I used to hammer T.O., and I worked down in Florida, and I was at the same station as Dan Le Batard. I don't know if you know this, but Dan Le Batard has two very, very close friends in the NFL. One is Ricky Williams, who was a complete disaster, and the other is T.O. He seems to gravitate towards these guys, and they like it. So during the offseason, this is no joke. So during the offseason, Le Batard would put on these big events. He had a movie night like every couple of months. What he would do is he would invite his listeners, him and Stu Gatz, to a very popular movie in Miami, or Coral Gables, and you invite celebrities to come. I can tell you, almost every single time T.O. would show up. And I got to tell you, Zach, and I mean this sincerely, I would hammer T.O. every single day. I would see this guy at the movie theater. He was lovely. He was friendly. He was warm. He signed autographs. He shook hands. He conversed with me knowing full well I killed him. And every time I would leave and go, I love this guy. But here's the difference. In that little football world, outside of real-life society, in that little football world, he was a cancer. a disaster. And everywhere he went, he really caused issues. So there are guys like that. You're going to meet them and go, oh, my God, this guy's charismatic. He's sweet. He's lovely. But put the cleats on, put him inside a locker room, put him inside a clubhouse, and that guy becomes a total jerk-off in 15 minutes.
You know, we had T.O. on this year at the Super Bowl, and I love him, and this just shows you off what you're saying. He was the only person on Radio Row without a PR person. He was booking his own interviews. Can you believe that?
No, I do believe that, and that's the type of guy he is. But, again, I know he dropped people don't talk about this. You talk about how many passes these guys caught. T.O., I think, also has dropped more passes than anybody in the history of the game, but that's not why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Look what he did in Philly, though. In Philly, he was a pain in the ass, and he messed up that situation. But still, he got them to the Super Bowl and played in one of the best performances I've ever seen on one leg.
No, listen, there's no doubt.
He's as tough as nails.
No, you're right. He had a broken leg that day and still had an amazing effort. And really, it was the quarterback, as you know. I'm not telling you what you don't know. Donovan McNabb that fell apart. But in the end there, the way he treated Donovan and the way he treated Jeff Garcia, time after time, quarterback after quarterback, even with the accolades, the big numbers in the Super Bowl appearance, not sure it's worth it. Not sure it's worth it. Just like, hey, listen, Zach, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league who aren't nearly as good as Colin Kaepernick, okay? He's a lot better than probably half the quarterbacks in football. But the problem is, do you want that guy on your team? Is it worth it? And the answer for Colin Kaepernick is obviously no.
One more thing before we let you run. I need a good Imus story before we let you go.
You want a good Imus story?
Yes, off-air Imus. And not the time that he pulled a gun on my father and told him to put the cigarette out.
Oh, that wasn't a horrible. He didn't shoot him, did he?
No, he still. Actually, I don't know. No, he didn't shoot him. He rolled down the window in his limo and he said, "Bob, put the cigarette out. My son is here." And he had the gun pointed at him, and my dad put the cigarette out.
That's a pretty good story. I will tell you this: a couple of weeks ago, two stories surfaced the same day. On that day, it just so happens that was the day when Mike Francesa was incessantly texting me while killing me on the air on his WN show at the same time. And on the same exact day, ESPN released a story about why they really fired Mike Lupica. So you have to understand, both Lupica and Francesa were friends of Imus for many, many, many years. But Imus barely talks to Mike anymore, Francesa, and Lupica and him are kind of on the outs. So I receive a phone call on my cell phone about 6 o'clock that night from Don Imus, who he never called my cell phone. And I'm like, hi, man, well, what are you doing? He goes, I got a story for you. I go, okay, great. What do you got? He goes, I got to talk to you about Lupica. I go, good. I'm glad you're on the phone. I got to talk to you about Francesa. So between the two mics, I'm going to end the conversation right here. We spent 20 minutes on the phone talking about the two mics, Lupica and Francesa. And don't you only wish, Zach, that I can tell you what we said for those 20 minutes. But the truth is, I can't.
Was that because your phone cut out and you didn't actually talk to Don?
No, I could say that, but the truth is the phone was working fine, and boy, would your audience and you love to know what the Iron and Sid shared about the two mics, Lupica and Francesa. But the good news is there'll be a second book of mine coming out in about a year.
What is that one going to be called?
I Hate Mike, and it could be Lupica, Francesa, Jordan. There's a million Mikes who I hate. So I was just going to say, I hate Mike.
Wait, hold on.
You get a chance to pick which Mike I really hate.
I'm telling you, make sure your breath smells good for next week because you're going to be kissing Francesa.
Oh, we'll see. Are you going to come down? Well, your show? Yeah, you can come down. You got time, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to be associated with that. I want to be in the good graces of everyone still.
Yeah, no, you do. It's early in your career. No, you're right. It's early in your career. You want the big shot to treat you well and all that. I totally get that. Me, I'm 50 years old. I've been doing this for 20 years. But I promise you this: if something goes awry and it gets very, very ugly, I promise I'll be calling Zach at 9:20 a.m. next Wednesday. Well,
that's good. Make sure you get a video too, so I could send it to TMZ and make some money off of it. All right?
Of course. Listen, I've got Harvey Levin on speed dial.
Sid, you're ridiculous. Before I get fired and don't make it to your number 2, thanks, Sid. Appreciate it.
Zachy, I'm real proud of you. I know your parents are too. You're really good, man. I'm not just saying that because we're friends. I know you since you're a little kid. You're really, really good. Continued success, kid.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Sid Rosenberg with us on the Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. What an eventful show this has been, and we're only an hour in. My intern Adam, his face is as red as a tomato. He can't believe this radio that we've had. We went from Sid Rosenberg, who we just had on. Before that, we had on Seth Greenberg. I don't know where the direction of this show's going, but it's been a fun one-year anniversary. We'll take a break. We're coming on back. Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. The one-year anniversary of the Zach Gelb Show. 5:04 is the time for the Princeton Orthopedic Associates Studios. We got to squeeze in one more break because we also will have Bob Costas on at 5:15, so about 11 minutes from now. Coming on back.